nothing like it. In all the realm, nothing like this. Elderflower. Just delectable. Oh, hello. Now there is a face that I recognize, and this face goes with this place in the old memory, doesn't it? Yes, I do remember you this time, seeing as it wasn't very far that we crossed paths before. Yes, my travels as a peddler brought me back to Whisperwind a bit sooner than expected. Not necessarily an unexpected surprise, though. I do enjoy my time in Whisperwind, not only because of the delectable elderflower ale that you can only get here, although it is quite the perk, isn't it? Well, I trust that the remainder of your journey from Eshon back home was uneventful. Good, glad to hear it. And you did deliver that scroll that I entrusted to your very capable hands when last we met, correct? Excellent. Glad to hear it. I mean, I suppose I will be seeing Clea sooner rather than later while I'm here, so I could confirm that for myself, but good to hear that you delivered that for me. Yes, thank you very much. Now, the last time that we met, it was only for a very short time, and I didn't get to show you any of my wares. Would you care to see some of the new things that I've picked up recently? Oh, you have something that you would like to show me? Very interesting. Yes, I do remember that fascinating, mysterious little trinket you sold me last time. You have something equally interesting you'd like to sell to old Zot today. Oh, you're not selling it? Oh, well then why are you showing it to me? You'd like to know something about it, and you're wondering if my infinite knowledge as life as a peddler, I might know something about it for you. Well, I hope that you're prepared to pay for such a service. No, I don't just go around doling out my knowledge for free. It's no way to make a living, is it? All right, then. Well, if you're willing to pay for it, then I suppose you can hand it over. I'll tell you what I know. No, you don't have to give me money now. We'll see how much I know about it, and then we'll decide how much that's worth together. I'm sure we can come up with a fair price. All right, sure. Yes, sure, hand it over. Intriguing. Let's see what's in this mysterious little pouch, shall we? What a fascinating pendant. Quite unique. The 3 strands here. It's not a style that's made very often anymore. And then we have a crescent moon down here. And a lovely stone there. Fascinating. I wonder if that's... Now, what was it that you wanted to know about this particular necklace? Oh, you'd like to know about the stone, yes. What do you know about it? The jeweler told you that it's a cloud stone. Yes, I do believe that she was correct. Do you know what a cloud stone is, per se? No? Well, good. I like getting to impart my knowledge on the less fortunate. A cloud stone it's actually quite an ancient type of magic. It came from the elves, but far more of the ancient elves. The ones who originally came here from whatever land they inhabited before they sailed to the shores of Maladia. You see, in their kingdom that they were from, magic worked a little bit differently, seeing as rune casting that the elves did while they inhabited Maladia came from the magical essence of the land that they could then fashion into runes and then use for spells or whatever else that they wanted to do with them. But see, back in their other kingdom, things worked a bit differently. They didn't harvest essence and craft their own magical stones or trinkets, whatever you'd like to call runes. No, they found magical stones that in and of themselves had magic. It's probably why the elves who did magic here liked to enchant different gemstones and things to hold magical power so that their spells would last longer. It's a similar idea. Although in this case, this is not a stone that has been enchanted. It is a stone that is inherently magical in and of itself. Now, of course, the wearer still has to have the magical know-how to access that power in order to do different things with it. But you wouldn't need something like runes or essence to make it work, as long as you understood the intrinsic type of magic that it holds. Now, a cloudstone, if I'm not mistaken, which I'm usually not, was a stone that one could use to change the weather. Not necessarily in incredibly drastic ways, but to change the temperature here and there, perhaps cause a gust of wind, or maybe stop a gust of wind. Maybe you could create some sort of a light shower to give some relief from terrible heat. Yes, it was a rather low-level stone, I believe. There were others that were a bit more powerful, could do more drastic things, but still very, very useful. Absolutely, especially if you are a farmer, per se, who maybe you'd like your crops to get a bit more rain, or maybe you'd like them to just not be exposed to intense heat. You could just drop the temperatures a bit to offer them some relief. Or perhaps you're a traveler, such as yourself, and you've been traveling through particularly arid or dangerous terrain, and you'd like a bit of relief from harsh temperatures, either extreme hot or extreme cold. You could change it to your will, just a bit. Anyway, yes, a very, very interesting type of magic from the ancient elves, mind you, not necessarily the modern elves, but the ancient ones who first came to the shores of Maladia. When was that? Oh, probably over 1,000 years ago by now. Yes, I actually wasn't alive during that time. No, it was my grandfather, I believe, his generation, when the elves first came here. Yes. Do I know how to use the magic? Of course I don't know how to use the magic. No. Definitely not. I can tell you what it is, but I cannot tell you how to use it. For that, I'm afraid you would have to find an elf that still believes in the ancient ways. Most likely be hard-pressed 1,000 years later, unless you were to traverse to the land beyond the sea where the elves came from. Obviously, they would have the answers for you. Where did you get such a fascinating necklace? A jeweler in Eshan. I wonder where she got it from. It's not an item that you find in just any store. Fascinating. And you're sure you wouldn't like to part with it? Are you absolutely sure? I would pay you quite a hefty sum for such a fascinating item. Fine. All right. Well, you will at least be paying me for the knowledge, as I said before. Is there anything else that you would like to look at while you're here, and we can just ring it all up together? Oh, no, please, I insist. There must be something that you need. I've acquired quite a few rather rare and interesting items since last we met that would be quite beneficial for a traveler such as yourself. Here's your necklace back. Yes, there you are. Can I show you a few of the more rare items that might pique your interest? Yes, of course. Let's see, where shall we start? How about right here? Now this, it's actually quite cold to the touch. This is a bottle of frosting. That's right, it has been enchanted, most likely by the elves, years and years ago, to make any liquid that you put inside of it cold almost instantly. Yes, quite fascinating. The spell? I don't know. I don't do magic. I know of magic, but I don't practice it myself. No, the elves, I suppose they taught some of us gnomes back when they were here, but I wasn't one of those who was inclined to learn the ways of our allies, unfortunately. Although I guess it wouldn't really matter because the gnomes who practiced magic had their memories wiped just like the humans when the elves left, so it wouldn't make a difference anyway, would it? But yes, fascinating little bottle. Might be quite nice on a long journey if you find some water, or if your water is warm from being in a bag all day and you'd like something nice and refreshing. You never know. It's an interesting idea. No, not for you. All right. Not a problem. How about... Oh, the crystal ball. This I already have a buyer for, actually. So sorry. I know, it's very fascinating. That's another elven relic, actually, that I came across quite by chance. It's quite a riveting tale. Another time, perhaps. Ooh. Since you're in the market for such interesting jewelry, obviously, I have something else down here that you might find a bit interesting. Now, this necklace has a crescent moon on it. Lovely pattern on there, worked into the silver. And then it's got one single turquoise stone hanging from below. Now, the crescent moon it's the sigil of a very fascinating place called Moonheim. It's an elven city that, unfortunately, just like the rest of magical knowledge, was lost to those of us who did not find ourselves as elves during the Great Separation. But back in the day, I did actually travel to Moonheim once or twice. It was a fascinating city. You see, there were two major elven cities, at least that I was aware of, both of which their locations have been lost to time and to magic, unfortunately. But the city in the forest, oh, I forget what it's called, but that city was far more busy, bustling with life, whereas the city of Moonheim was in the mountains. Things moved a bit slower. They were a bit more serene and sacred, I suppose. Anyway, I do believe that this was actually a relic from the grand city of Moonheim. Perhaps worn by a high priestess or an acolyte. Back in the day. You never know. I found this one at the estate of a very fascinating manor. A very fascinating man who lives just south of Bracken Gulch, I believe. Yes, between Bracken Gulch and Hazelbend, I think. He has all sorts of fascinating things in his very large, very dark and dusty home. I would love to go through every single room and just find all sorts of interesting things. Unfortunately, he is of the mind that one item each time I come by is plenty for me to purchase, unfortunately. One of these days, perhaps my innate charm will soften him up a bit and he'll let me have two things at once. But for now, it's just the one item. Anyway, I thought this one was very lovely with the ornate scrawling inside the moon there. And turquoise, as you may or may not know, is inherently powerful in and of itself. You see, turquoise is a stone that's associated with good health, with good luck, with a peace of mind. Yes, all sorts of wonderful, positive things. There are several cultures from this realm and other realms that consider turquoise the stone of royalty as well. So, quite a valuable stone. It's such a lovely color. I mean, who could possibly think otherwise? Anyway, are you interested in this very rare relic? No. Going to be tough today, aren't you? That's all right. I appreciate the challenge. Let's see, what else might pique the interest of someone such as yourself? Oh, this? Let's talk about it, shall we? This item is unlike anything I've ever seen before. Let's just put it that way. This item actually came from that same manor of that same strange, reclusive man. Now, most of the items in his home that he's willing to sell, he's willing, but he's still rather reluctant for most of them. I have to do quite a bit of heckling and convincing before he's willing to sell me anything. However, with this, he seemed almost happy to be rid of it. Now here's the thing. I have been a peddler for a very, very, very long time. I have traveled the entirety of Maladia and to the continent, to the east of us, as well as the kingdoms to the north and the west. I've seen quite a lot in my days. And I've never seen something like this before. It has some sort of inherent power. You can feel it. In fact, it's actually, if you can tell, it's sealed around here with wax. Now, I have my suspicions of what this might be, but I am not sure. That's something that I don't say very often. I'm not sure what this is. In fact, I'm hesitant to even put it out when I sell things, because it could be something that is incredibly dangerous inside. Frankly, I have no idea. So, if this is an item that has intrigued you, for the right price, I suppose I would part with it. I am a peddler after all. I have to make a living, don't I? But it would have to come with a promise that whatever is inside you will treat with care. Yes. If this is what you would like, I suppose. Well, is there Is there anything else that you see that might be interesting to you? What's that? Oh, it's just... I'll just have it wrapped up because it's a bit dirty. Here. It's actually somewhat of an artifact. Another relic of the past that has nothing to do with elves this time. This is a relic of humans and gnomes. This was found on a dig to the city of Blightthorne. I'm sure you've heard of that name before. Yes, it used to be the glistening, bustling city of Brighthaven, home to inventors, alchemists, the brightest minds in our kingdom, until the Blightthorne incident about 10 years ago or so, a tragic event that destroyed half of the city, and the rest of the city just fell to ruin after. Yes, very tragic. Did it... What do you mean, do I know the gnome who was responsible for it? You think it was a gnome who destroyed Brighthaven? Brighthaven was a city created by gnomes. Gnomes are inherently a peaceful people. No. The Blightthorne incident was not caused by a gnome. Who told you such a thing? You'd rather not say. Of course you wouldn't. No. Brighthaven was destroyed by a human. Unintentionally, but a human nonetheless. No, I don't want to say anything more about it. If you must know, there is someone else in Whisperwind who may be able to tell you more about the city of Brighthaven. It was her home, after all, before moving here to this fascinating little town of Whisperwind. That's right, Isabel. Yes, the fascinating inventor. You know, she most likely hasn't told you much about her past, but her father was actually one of the most renowned inventors in all of Brighthaven before the Blightthorne incident happened. That's her story to tell. If you'd like to know more, you'll have to talk to her yourself. Anyway, this little item, I'm not sure what it is. I think it may just be a little toy, but it was found in Blightthorne, within the ruins somewhere. Probably has quite the story. As you can see, it's still quite dirty. I don't have the proper tools to clean it, and I wouldn't want to ruin any of the mechanisms within. I'm not sure what it was able to do, but it looks like some sort of a toy. Some sort of a little figurine, maybe it danced, maybe it played music. It looks like it's holding some sort of rudimentary instrument there. So, perhaps Isabel would know what it was and know how to fix it and restore it. In fact, she might very much appreciate it. But, no, as of now, unfortunately, my giftings lie outside of the realm of engineering and inventing and machines and all that sort of work. There were quite a few gnomes who were gifted in that area, but my giftings lie elsewhere. Anyway, I'm sure it doesn't really mean anything to you. You'd like to purchase it to give to Isabel. Mm-hmm. That would be quite an interesting gift. It might convince her to tell you the true story of what happened at Brighthaven that day. She was there, after all. No, I wasn't there on the day of the incident. I was out traveling, as I normally am. I don't stay in one place for very long. But Isabel, that was her home. So if anyone would know what really happened that day, it would be her. Well, I suppose if you would like to take that and give it to her, perhaps she'll be a bit more inclined to open up. Don't be surprised if she doesn't tell you the whole story. She prefers to keep to herself. In fact, I think one of the reasons that she stays in Whisperwind is because people don't ask questions here. But if you'd like to ask questions, I suppose that's up to you. Well, all right. Is there anything else that catches your eye? Perhaps the pixie furniture that I've got down here. Yes, fascinating little thing. Now that is an interesting story. Where? No, you're not interested in that. All right. I doubt I doubt this would interest you. No, that I'm planning on selling to Farron. Obviously, a scroll of magical spells doesn't do you much good unless you are an elf, obviously. So that wouldn't be of interest to you. Oh, I do have this lovely golden headband made by the dwarves, you know. They are definitely very well known for their skill in metal crafting. It's got all of these lovely, delicate little leaves on it. I believe that they actually used to make this particular style of headbands for the elves. Some of their festivals, when the elves and the dwarves used to do things together like that. Obviously, it's been quite a while, but they still enjoy making things a bit more delicate now and then. You wouldn't think so looking at a rough and tough dwarf, that his hands could craft something so delicate and detailed. But they are very, very skilled. Does that interest you at all? No, not today. Sea glass? Most likely not. What about the ring of a necromancer? Not today. Are you sure? That's a fascinating item as well. Not today. All right, that's fine. So, just the relic of Blightthorne and the fascinating unknown jar for today. And of course, the information about your fascinating cloudstone necklace. What was the name of the jewelry store that you purchased that from in Esha? Pandora's Jewels. Perhaps I shall have to pay her a visit next time I'm in Esha. See who her supplier is. Wait, she wasn't in the inner ring, was she? Oh, she was. Oh. You see, unfortunately, due to a complete, absolute misunderstanding from the last time I traveled to Eshan, I am no longer welcome in the inner ring. I wonder what it would take to convince Sari to talk to her for me. Probably nothing that I'm willing to do. Ugh. Well, I suppose perhaps it will remain a mystery. All right, well, I can bring those 2 items up for you at least. Yes, yeah. All right, let's see. What would be a fair price for that knowledge? I am a well of knowledge after all. I believe that's fair. Excellent, here. Return your pouch to you then. There you are. Yes, enjoy those 2 items. And remember what I said about that jar. The utmost care, if you please. All right. Well, if there's anything else that I can do for you, you know where to find me, at least for the next few days. Otherwise, I suppose I'll see you next time I cross through Whisperwind, or perhaps somewhere else. You never know when fate may direct our paths to meet. Well, wherever that is, I hope that it's just as interesting as our past meetings have been. Bye for now.